Hi, I'm Sharon Mitchell with the Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce, and this interview is being conducted on behalf of the Johnson County Public Policy Council, which is comprised of the Chambers of Commerce in Johnson County and the Kansas City Chamber. Jointly, we host a site, votejoco.com. It's a nonpartisan site where voters can learn more about candidates for public office. Many of the candidates that we'll be interviewing have completed candidate questionnaires that can also be found at votejoco.com. So welcome today. We have with us today Pam Shernuk, and Pam is a candidate for 3rd District Johnson County Commission. And this district covers parts of Olathe, Overland Park, and the Johnson County portion of Spring Hill, as well as some rural areas. So thank you, Pam, for joining today and to share with our members and visitors at votejoco.com more about what your priorities would be if you're elected. So we want to start today's conversation just by spending 3 to 4 minutes. You're just telling us a little bit more about you and why you chose to run for the Johnson County Commission.
Okay, well, thank you, and thanks for hosting this. I appreciate it. My background is I was born and raised in Winfield, Kansas. It's a small community southeast of Wichita. I graduated from Winfield High School. My father was a small business owner in Winfield. He owned several restaurants, mobile home park, furniture store. He also served in the Kansas legislature for 20 years and served 4 years as Speaker of the House. After I left Winfield, I moved to Topeka, and I graduated from Washburn University with a degree in criminal justice and a minor in political science. While I was in Topeka, I worked for both the governor's office and the attorney general's office in the Consumer Protection Division. I met my husband there, and we married in 1980. We have 2 grown married sons and 2 grandsons. My husband has been a federal prosecutor with the Department of Justice for the last 38 years. I have a master's degree in public administration from the University of Kansas with an emphasis in state and local government. And we moved to Johnson County about 30 years ago in 1990. Both of our kids are products of Blue Valley schools. They both graduated from Blue Valley Northwest. I started working for Blue Valley in 1995, I believe, and I retired from there after 20 years of service. I've worked in the schools, mainly worked at district office in their communications department, and then most recently with the as administrative projects manager with the superintendent's office. I also have worked in the classrooms with some of the kiddos. After I retired, I was appointed to the Johnson County Commission on Aging. I've served on that commission for the last 3 years, serving the last 2 as vice chair, and have been nominated for chair for this upcoming year. That really has sparked my passion for county government, which is one of the main reasons that I'm running. I've become very involved with the Commission on Aging, but during that process, I've also learned a lot about the county government, how it works, how it could be improved, county budget process, what the priorities are. So that really has sparked me. I feel like there needs to be more fiscal accountability, government transparency to the taxpayers. And so that's one of the main reasons that I'm running. I think one of the things that sets me apart from maybe some of the other candidates that may be running is that this is really the only office I'm interested in holding. Some of the other candidates have held other offices and run for other offices. I won't be doing that. This is the only office really that's of interest to me because I think it is the most impactful board in the local community where you really have an opportunity to affect some positive change. Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Sorry,
right.
that mute button. Thanks for explaining a little bit about who you are and helping us get to know you a little bit. These next few questions are just going to focus on some key areas that are important to our members and just citizens in general. So if you could spend just a couple of minutes in each of them, and then at the end, we'll give you a little bit of time to do kind of a closing statement.
Thank you.
So as a candidate, what are your top 3 priorities for Johnson County?
Well, obviously the economic development, COVID has had such an impact on the community, on the unemployment rate, on how our local businesses are doing. So economic development has to definitely be a priority. Expanding our mental health services and advocating for our aging services and our vulnerable populations, I think that is probably would be one of my top priorities also. And public safety. I think that just kind of contributes to the overall quality of life that people here in Johnson County have come to expect. So those 3 in particular, I think would rise to the top. We have a lot of other priorities, and I know there are a lot of things important to a lot of people. As I've been on social media during my campaign, I know that property tax issues are huge for people, and that does need to be addressed somehow. I know that there are a lot of other people that are interested in libraries and parks, and there are many interests that I think that the public safety, aging services, mental health, and then especially the economic development.
You had mentioned kind of when you started giving your little introduction about the budget a little bit. What's your philosophy and approach to managing the county budget?
The county budget is enormous. It's over $1 billion. And I think the county has done a good job with it. I know that they just had a budget presentation today with the county, and then I've reviewed what they have proposed for 2021. Because of COVID, county revenue is down considerably, and they originally thought they were going to have to cut the county budget between $18 and $38 million. And because of good management, I think, at the county, they've been able to tamper that down, and their proposal for 2021 was able to be made without any recommendation for any type of mill levy increase. My philosophy on the budget is to live within its means. I am not in favor of raising the mill levy. I'm not in favor of cutting the mill levy because I'm concerned that it might negatively impact critical services that county citizens rely on. And if we can manage to get through this crisis without raising taxes, I think that's a good thing. People don't need to have their taxes raised right now because people are hurting from job loss, and their own income is being impacted. So living within the existing budget, I think, is crucial.
So could you just describe a little bit your views between of the balance between the distribution of costs and services between the incorporated parts of the county and the unincorporated parts of the county?
The county, the Board of County Commissioners zones in the unincorporated areas. The cities zone in the incorporated areas. And most of the time when people ask me this question, the best way I know to describe it is that the county is really the caretaker of the land for the unincorporated areas. And then when the cities get ready to zone, they annex that land, and then they determine how that land is going to be used. The county, for the most part, and they do zoning, but most of the time, it's for somebody that wants to maybe put in a sod farm, or maybe put a dog kennel on their property out in the rural areas or something like that. So the county doesn't really get into a lot of the major commercial and apartment buildings and things like that that the cities do. I think the best thing the county can do is to maintain and encourage that overall quality of life in the county, so that when the cities get ready to incorporate the land, they've got good, solid businesses or builders who are wanting to develop it.
So, for example, if there's roads or certain infrastructure where you see the development beginning to happen, what are your views on being proactive versus more reactive to doing some of those infrastructure projects?
Are you talking roads in the unincorporated areas or in the,
Yes.
the unincorporated areas?
Yeah.
Well, I think that the county has a responsibility to keep those roads safe. I think safety is one of the primary duties of the county. And I know that there have been a lot of requests for road improvement in the county. I think depending upon I know that depending upon the easements, whether or not those are donated, whether the county has to purchase it, it is an issue for them, and how many people use the roads. But I do feel that they need to be proactive, not reactive. As the county is growing right now, the only way the county has to grow is south. We've built out in the northern part of the district. So as the county tends to have that growth in the southern part, they need to be proactive with that growth and how they're going to address the roads and other growing issues.
You had kind of mentioned economic development earlier. What do you believe is the role of the county in economic development?
Again, I think it's mainly to help the cities maintain that overall quality of life that will draw residents and businesses to this area. When the economic development hits and when businesses come to the county, generally it's in the city, it's in one of the cities, Lenexa, Overland Park, Olathe, whatever. It's the county's responsibility to make our entire county appealing to those businesses who want to relocate here, and to keep to our schools, our parks, our rec center, everything that we have to offer to draw additional residents to the county. That increases our tax base. That's good for everybody. So I think it's the county's responsibility to offer the services and the quality of life that are going to attract the types of businesses and residents that will add to that economic development.
Okay, here's a good open question. What do you believe are takeaways for the county commission should be from the COVID-19 pandemic experience thus far?
Yes, that was a good question. I have been watching all of the county commission meetings, and I think there are a lot of takeaways from that. I think the primary takeaway, and if you read the county's charter, one of the main things the county is charged with is public health and safety. And it is one of the responsibilities, one of the main responsibilities of the Johnson County Commission. The commission, at one point, the commission members approved the hiring of their medical professionals. I'm not sure of the exact dates, but they approved the hiring of their medical professionals. It's my opinion, the takeaway from that should be that when you hire people to do a job, you should empower them to do the job that they were hired to do, and that you should rely on their advice. If you don't feel that there are going to be reliable sources, then you probably shouldn't hire them. I think the other takeaway from the mask issue, I think it's really important that people understand that everybody on the county commission brings their own background to that commission. There are social workers, there are business owners, there are volunteers, there are small business owners. I myself, I have a background in state and local government with public administration. Should I get elected? Everybody brings something different to the table. And I think it's really important to be respectful of the differences. And somehow I think that that may have gotten lost because everyone is so passionate about this particular issue. And I understand that. But when you lose respect for why you're there, then I think it takes away from your ability to be impactful. So I think that's the other takeaway, is that we need to embrace the differences, learn from everybody's differences, and then we need to also respect the professionals that have been hired to do their jobs.
Okay, and this is the final question. And if you want to expand on this a little bit to just kind of a closing statement, if you have anything else you want to add, you kind of already discussed this a little bit, but what do you believe really distinguishes you from the other candidates in the race? And then what else would you like us to know about Pam Shernuk?
I appreciate it. Like I said, I do have a background in state and local government. I don't think either one of the other candidates do. I'll be really honest with you. I'm not sure what their views are on things. So it's hard for me to say, well, I'm different because I haven't really heard where they stand on things. So if you go to my website, if you go to my campaign Facebook page, I have been very transparent. I am advocating for government transparency if I'm elected, and I will be transparent, and I have been transparent on all of my social media about where I stand. I think that being on the Johnson County Commission on Aging gives me a different perspective, because I do see it from inside the county and outside the county. I've gotten to understand the organizational structure of the county, the makeup of the budget process. And like I said, that's really has driven me to want to run and make sure that that fiscal accountability is at the county level for the residents. The other thing I think that makes me different, I've lived in the county for 30 years. Like I said, I've been a patron, a parent, an employee, a volunteer. I've been here for many, many years. I've never run for public office. This is the first time I've ever run for anything. And it's been intentional. I don't want to run just to hold office. This is important to me. Local government is important. Local elections are important. And I feel like you can really affect positive change at the local level. So I think that's probably one of the biggest differences. I know the other people running for this office have either run for or held other offices. So that's probably one of the most distinctive differences.
Very good. Do you have any kind of final closing thought? You could go ahead and tell us how to contact you if you'd like.
Sure.
That's also on your questionnaire that will be close to where the video is, but if you want to go ahead and tell us.
That's great. Yes, my campaign email is just pamforjoco.com, Pam, the number 4, joco.com. And that's also my website address. And on there, you can go on to the contact page and you can contact me through my email. My campaign Facebook page is just Pam Shernuk for Johnson County. That also has contact information on it, but it also has a lot of content. I know there are a lot of candidates post a lot of photos. I've tried to post substance to let you know where I stand. I would describe myself, one of the questions I get a lot is, am I a Republican or a Democrat? And I will remind everybody that the race for county commission is a nonpartisan race, which is why we don't identify ourselves as Republicans or Democrats. We will appear on the primary ballots for both Democrats and Republicans this coming August 4th. And the reason is, again, it's nonpartisan. So I get that question a lot, and I am a registered Republican. All three of us running for this position are registered Republicans. We are all three women. But I would encourage people to go on my website, learn the differences between the three candidates, because there are differences. And if anybody has any questions, I would be more than happy to visit with them. They can either email me, they can leave me a message on social media. I'll be happy to get back with them. I would close by saying that local elections matter. Primary elections matter, and it's really important to vote.
Very good. Well, thanks, Pam, so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be looking for your video to be posted on votejoeco.com.